GCA's 2021-22 Annual Review. Our mission at GCA as a leading voluntary organisation working to reduce the harm caused by addiction through the provision of high-range quality advice, information, counselling, support, prevention, education and training. As one of the leading organisations, we aim to improve addiction, education and awareness. We want to influence the social climate to reduce harmful alcohol consumption, improve health and well-being, address inequalities and service provision to enable wider access for people to use our services. We work alongside funders and other providers to enable us to provide appropriate services for educational purposes. Our values are that health is vital to all individuals, families and the relationships they're in, the communities and society at wide. Everyone has the right to live in safety. Everyone has the right to be accepted and treated equally. Everyone should have access to alcohol education, information and confidential services. Our services should always be client-centred, respectful and non-judgmental. Staff, volunteers and students at GCA have a responsibility individually and collectively to ensure their behaviour does not result in exploitation, oppression, physical or emotional harm to others. So, how did we achieve this? GCA works with a wide range of people affected directly or indirectly by alcohol and other addictions through the provision of early intervention and alcohol brief interventions, one-to-one support, counselling, advice and information, group work programmes, alcohol and drug prevention, training, service user involvement in peer support networks, employability programmes. All of our services are trauma-informed. We deliver services bespoke to young people. We have gender-specific services and LGBTQ+ services. We have a clearly identified remit to provide access to services for people who have been adversely affected by drugs or alcohol. We aim to educate people about the effect and impact of drugs and alcohol and further addiction. We aim to support people who are affected by alcohol misuse to reduce or abstain from alcohol. We aim to prevent relapse by providing information and support to enable individuals to move on from their harmful alcohol use. We provide support services to people affected by others' addiction, and most importantly, we also provide services for individuals who are victims of childhood trauma. GCA strive to help create communities where everyone freely commits to making a positive difference to the lives within that community. Even through the global pandemic from 2019, where COVID-19 became prevalent throughout, GCA continued to provide services over and above the usual provision. This ranged from shopping trips for people who were unable to leave home, sourcing digital tech for people who had no access, games and family packs for families who were facing both financial and digital poverty. We believe that through support and encouragement, we can make a difference directly and indirectly to the lives of others in a number of ways. Our key findings are as follows. The number of drug-related deaths has substantially increased over the last 20 years. There were 4.5 times as many deaths in 2020 as was compared to 2000. Men were 2.7 times as likely to have a drug-related death than women after adjustment for age. After adjusting for age, people who lived in the most deprived areas of the country were 18 times more likely to die from a drug-related death as those in the least deprived. Almost 2/3 of all drug-related deaths were for people aged 35 to 54. The average age of drug-related deaths has increased from 32 to 43 over the last 20 years. Greater Glasgow and Clyde had the highest drug-related death of all health board areas, followed by Ayrshire and Arran and then Tayside. Scotland's drug death rate continues to be over 3.5 times that as the UK as a whole, and higher than that of any other European country. The rates of mortality from alcohol-specific causes was 22.3 deaths per 100,000 people in 2021. 2/3 of alcohol-specific deaths were males, 836 or 67%, and 409 or 33% female. GCA services. Alcohol counselling, advice and information service. Over the past year, the impact not only of COVID-19 but of lockdown and insecurity of finances has seen a greater demand for GCA's alcohol counselling service, especially due to the rise in the numbers of addictions, increased mental ill health, other problems associated with loneliness due to social isolation and feelings of general anxiety. GCA note that there is an increase in those referrals where people have a dual diagnosis of both mental health and addiction. The service continues to recruit, train and support volunteers, welcoming student counselling placements as well as supporting individuals. GCA provides support to family members, partners and anyone concerned about a loved one's alcohol use. The service offers assessment and advice, alcohol brief interventions, motivational interviewing, cognitive behavioural therapy, one-to-one counselling, young persons counselling, family support work, telephone counselling, online and Zoom counselling. The service continues to grow and develop with GCA's highly skilled, dedicated volunteer staff and students who work with individuals affected by addiction, while we ensure to signpost individuals to the services that best benefit them. Whether the GCA counselling service, wellbeing services or other community services, we will onward transfer and support individuals through that journey. Through our extensive service user involvement, we noted that over 65% of our clients do not access the extensive recovery communities for a varied number of reasons, particularly stigma and possibility of exclusion. Community justice first, supporting health and well-being while reducing offending through mentorship. Our community justice service provides a dedicated programme of support for people who have committed an offence and been referred to the criminal justice services. Individuals do not need to have an issue around alcohol or addiction, as the service delivered focus on mentorship, one-to-one support and group work programmes to enable the individuals to address offending behaviour and any underlying issues. This also addresses the wider needs of the individual, including access to information, health, employability issues, benefits and housing. We promote and implement change via our mentoring service in a bid to support people to achieve a crime-free life. To do this, we provide the service with a tailored support that meets the many issues that the people may face in the community. This is very much focused on the individual and in a person-centred way. Through the identification of these areas, this can help improve someone's life significantly and enable stabilisation. We ensure everything we do is outcomes-based, setting goals with clients to help them to achieve these goals and using action plans to understand their journey towards them. In some areas, we also provide support to attend appointments, maintain contact with agencies, address drug or alcohol problems, access appropriate mental health services, reduce social isolation, provision of housing advice and support, providing support and advice to access benefits, help with forms including housing, DWP or emergency grants, promoting independence and choice, enhancing life skills, enhancing social skills, providing opportunities to access employability, and most importantly, enabling individuals to return to their own community. During 2021-22, the service provided face-to-face appointments, which including group work and mentoring. Last year, there were 2,046 appointments with 286 unique individuals accessing the service. Our alcohol brief intervention service aims to reduce alcohol and drug-related harm and for those who are at risk of harm in both an individual and a community-wide level, through long-term asset-based approach to changing the culture of alcohol and drug use through supporting the delivery of ABIs in the wider community and in wider care settings. This involves partnership working with a range of organisations, developing and maintaining clear referral pathways, piloting, developing and delivering in a wide range of settings, monitoring and evaluation of all the activities undertaken and the evaluation of this, providing ABI training for trainers courses supported by a range of training materials and a newly established network. Developing our online training tool was one of the key outcomes from this year. Elevate Glasgow is our employability service for individuals in recovery from addiction, which involves 27 partner organisations. Of these, GCA is the lead agency support and partner within the PSP. Elevate is seconded by the Scottish Government and Erasmus+. Elevate delivers a variety of employment-based services including personal development, training, work placement, social enterprise and volunteering. This can be done either directly through the service itself or through the partner agencies. This is a unique person-centred support where the PSP itself tailors around the individual's needs and aspirations rather than following step-by-step guidance so that they are in control of their own recovery. Through the provision of this person-centred approach, the recovery employment workers will do a variety of work with participants, ranging from supporting them on very practical tasks, i.e. going to be housing appointments, DWP, to making sure their CV is up to date and interview preparation. Through this work, they will look at both real and perceived barriers that people are impacted by, from poor mental health, homelessness, trauma, criminality, adverse childhood experiences, to name a few. Each participant is unique and we treat everyone as an individual with dignity and respect. Employability support workers work very intensively with participants to support them in their journey to employment and offer ongoing support once they're in the workplace. This service dovetails very well with our recovery employability service, where Elevate Partnership was formed as a multi-agency organisation involving 16 predominantly third sector organisations across Glasgow. GCA is the lead partner in delivering the RES service as funded by NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde. The RES extends the work of Elevate by providing bespoke dedicated employment services to those in Glasgow in recovery, whether they're in employment or not. This team includes dedicated support workers, employment advisors, placement and IPS specialists, individual placement support workers, and in-work advisors. Career guidance, practical help and support with job searches is everything we can do to help individuals meet their goals. GCA deliver Building Positive Pathways through sponsorship and support by Survivor Scotland. This is a holistic, trauma-informed alcohol and drug service addressing the dual and complex issues of substance misuse, trauma and understanding the multiple needs of survivors. The aim of this service is to maintain situations for individuals to have a healthy, safe and supported living environment. GCA's Survivor Programme in 2021-22 supported 128 unique individual survivors. Participants can take part in a 6-month one-to-one mentoring session, building on practical goals and action plans to enhance the focus and structure and routine. There are Wellbeing Wednesday drop-ins, educational groups and the Feel Good Friday, all of which aim to enhance mental and physical health as part of the wider programme. GCA believes the impact of embedding trauma-informed approach across all services, structures and routines have aspirations in allowing us to become one of the key members of a wider trauma-informed network. Our women's service, which we deliver now in partnership with Say Women, have worked towards the identification of additional risks for women who have experienced adverse trauma, sexual abuse and domestic abuse. This is in addition to the addiction issues they may be dealing with. With this in mind, we had sought to work in partnership with Say Women, who would work uniquely with women under 24, and GCA would work with women over 24. This continues as a person-centred holistic approach through our dedicated workers, helping individuals deal with their rehabilitation and support the system to give people key access to important aspects such as housing, supporting them into volunteering, training and employability, but most importantly, that the women felt heard, listened to and safe. They're supported by women for women. Our new U-Turn service in South Lanarkshire is our young person peer support service. It is a service which has been designed for individuals between 12 and 18 years old living in South Lanarkshire. Peer education is an approach that empowers participants to engage in promoting topics, embracing change and sharing information with peers. This is undertaken through their appropriate training and support. Peer educators are encouraged to develop and deliver workshops and information and campaigns that will enhance their own knowledge, but also the knowledge of the people who have shared or similar experience and backgrounds. The service works with the young people who are disengaged from services and participating in at-risk behaviours. Early effective interventions are vital, ensuring running the group work sessions where young people socialise with peers, undertaking training, receiving accredited coursework and building their confidence. Young people are empowered to lead in the harm reduction messages across communities around substance misuse, including developing and delivering youth-friendly workshops and anti-stigma campaigns. GCA are also the lead partner with Kinder, Stronger, Better. Through an extensive consultation with participants in the wider community, GCA recognised there was a gap in service provision for the LGBTQI+ community. Research shown that substance use and addiction is a significant problem within this community. Those who identify as LGBTQ+ are at greater risk for substance use, mental health issues, compared to those who identify as heterosexual. More than twice as many LGBTQ+ adults compared to heterosexual adults reported using drugs in the last year, according to research. Those who identified as members of the community were nearly twice as likely to have an alcohol and drug problem within the last year. Additionally, the community individuals are far more likely than heterosexual individuals to suffer from depression, anxiety, other emotional or behavioural problems, and to think about suicide or have suicidal ideation, all of which increase the risk of additional substance use. In accordance to Stonewall, nearly half of all trans people under 26 stated they had attempted suicide. 30% of them had stated they'd done so in the last year, and 59% recorded that they would still consider doing so to this day. A recent study called the Glasgow Caledonia Study, named The Social Context of LGBT People Drinking in Scotland, has found that there were perceived to be a range of barriers for LGBT+ people engaging in services across the Glasgow region and wider in Scotland. These service providers, assuming that all patients were heterosexual, and the perception that addiction services and peer support groups would not provide a safe or welcoming space for LGBT people. This was particularly challenging and raised issues for GCA and wider partners to create the Kinder, Stronger, Better network and start to look at how we can deliver services for individuals. GCA have delivered a phenomenal amount of training in the last year. Our main training department continued to thrive and has been extremely busy with a number of new courses, particularly COSCA programs. COSCA group work, COSCA counselling skills, COSCA practice supervision, child protection, ABI training for trainers, vulnerable adults, motivational interviewing, quality assurance, trauma-informed skills practice, training for trainers, trauma-informed awareness, and counselling people towards behavioural change. Our training department has grown through the development of our Diploma in Counselling and Psychotherapy. This is an integrated approach which has continued to grow and succeed. It's now SQF rated by the University of the West of Scotland at 10 and is a phenomenal achievement for our training team, and the commitment from GCA to ensure that there is a quality programme in order to train new counsellors as we work through. This currently feeds into our student placement goals to ensure the quality of the placements for our PhD students for psychology and counselling. This course has been progressing well and has very positive outcomes and evaluations. We are delighted to report full validation from COSCA and have now seen our first set of graduates coming through. The diploma has consistently been increasing numbers of students and growth within the team, and we are delighted in this new development and look forward to the future of the course and where we'll go next. Thank you for listening. If you wish to contact us, please contact us on 0141 353 1800 or look us up at www.glasgowcouncilalcohol.org.